Welcome to the Nick and Matt Show. Bringing the player interviews you want to hear and the hot topics you want to discuss. Streaming live on the Foundation Podcast YouTube channel, here's Nick and Matt.
Recently at Texas State, and I was watching your interview following the round, eager to hear what you'd have to say. And one of the things you mentioned was that this was your first quote unquote real win. Can you explain what you meant by that in that moment? What did that mean to you?
Well, so I did win the Pro Tour championships, but like that wasn't a normal tournament layout. So for me, it didn't like, some people are like, oh, it's the layout, because she won. And I'm just like, well, this is a normal event and I just won. So now what,
Yeah, what more do you have to do? So obviously you can kind of tell by your tone right now, but if you were to pick which one had more of a significant feeling towards it, is it the Pro Tour Championships or winning the first national tour?
I think it would be the Pro Tour Championships for me, even though it wasn't necessarily a real event, I guess, but it felt it was probably because of the 20,000, but it felt like it was almost like Worlds,
Yeah, there was obviously way more on the line, and you had the top competitors of your division, and you made it straight into the semifinals, right? So you had to play, you obviously, when it comes to playing real disc golf, you played 2 great rounds of disc golf, and you'd be arguably the best female player in a playoff by jamming a 25-foot putt to win $20,000. So it's a very real tournament that you won, and for people saying that it's got a different feeling to it, I mean, obviously you can tell the significance of winning the Pro Tour Championships versus, that happens only once a year. Same thing with like Worlds in the USDGC, but national tours, there are multiple national tours throughout the year. So I think coming from the outside, personally, I think the TGPT was obviously a huge milestone and an incredible win in and of itself.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just curious, and you don't have to say who or what, but like, were these competitors that you would hear rumblings of, like it wasn't a real event, or was it just a general, like what?
It was just like the general disc golf people, like comments and everything, which I don't really care about. So
yeah. But that being said, this you put a stamp on this NT, and we're like, hey, this is real, everybody. That's kind of how I took it. Is that how you meant it? Like, this is it.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned you were dealing. We follow. We're a talk show dedicated to disc golf, and we were following your journey. And the beginning of the season, we were like, oh man, we kind of thought things might go a little more different here. Following all the hype of Hailey King, and I'm sure you felt similarly. But you had alluded to a few things. One is like the wind was crazy different in a practice round at like LVC. Other tournaments you mentioned maybe your ankle was, bothering you or was annoying you. Something was up with it, or maybe even stuff that was happening off the course. Can we ask, all of that combined, was it the combination of mental struggles and maybe your ankle that was holding you back up until this NT win? Like what came together to help you win this NT?
The people around me helped me win the NT. I wasn't in the right mindset for me to play disc golf, to want to be there, and they helped me get through it because it was my last event. I knew I was going to drop out of Lone Star, so it was my last event until Jonesboro. It was mainly all of this stuff, outside stuff. I pushed through the ankle injury because it was something really stupid, but it was more just the mental aspect for me that really got me. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
How do you feel about your mental game? Everyone always talks about, I say everyone, as of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, everyone talks about how it seems like you're so mentally strong, maybe because you don't show much emotion. How do you feel about your mental game if you had to rate it, maybe even this year alone?
I feel like my mental game is pretty strong on the disc golf course, but it's hard for me to disassociate or whatever from real life and disc golf, from the tournament and outside stuff. That's still something that I feel like might come with experience, but I'm having a hard time doing that. So,
well, from from one person who struggles with that to apparently another. I can relate to you. And what I bring to this show, sometimes I have to totally forget what I'm doing outside of the show, because this isn't real life, what I'm doing here. You know, disc golf's not real life as you're saying it. But like, anyways, we relate and we support you with that. Congratulations on that win for sure.
I was going to say, when you figure out how to take all the stuff happening off the course and just block it all out, you let me know, because I could totally use those tips as well. But so you're 965 rated. You're 1 point behind Kat, and I think that's 31 points behind Paige. Are you satisfied with being the number 3 rated player in the world right now? Do you feel like your game is where it should be, or do you feel like there's still a lot of that you could work on to know that like you can elevate it to the next level?
I feel like for right now, it is satisfying me enough to where I'm happy with it. I'm happy where I'm at with my accomplishments, but I'm still hungry for more. So, I mean, am I happy for it like overall? Not really, but momentarily, yes, because I know that means I'm progressing. So,
What do you think? So if you're 965 right now, what do you think you got to work on to get to 970 to 975? Like, once, if you had to pinpoint one thing in your game that you feel like, yes, I could work on that, what do you think it is?
I can't throw a backhand upshot. So, I need to work on that, and that's going to save me a lot.
Gotcha.
Wait a second. What do you mean? Elaborate. You can't throw a backhand and approach shot. I feel like anybody can do that. You can. I've seen you do that. Elaborate.
I can't. I like 1 out of 10 times I'll do it. I
What?
can't. Like, it just doesn't work. I have a scar on my pinky, and if I hit it, which I tend to do when I throw backhand up shots, my fingers and like my hands go like really tingly for a long time. So I avoid doing that, but I don't know why I've avoided it. I should have just been working around it.
Interesting. But elaborate even more. Like, what does it mean to you that you can't do it? Like, I'm trying to understand. Is the disc literally falling out of your hand? You just don't feel comfortable with it? What does it mean to you that you can't?
Like, I have to figure out a grip that works for me because I can't do fan grip or else it hits my pinky and
Okay.
then it goes numb. So I just have to find a grip that works comfortable. And I actually have been working with it a little bit this last, like after Texas States, I've been working on it and I've been able to figure it out, but it's not pretty. It doesn't feel good yet.
Yeah. So what distance are you talking about backhand approach shots? Like, are you saying from 100 to 150 feet, 100 to 200? You know, like, what are you considering that awkward? Because like, I use a power grip personally for a lot of my up shots, and then I'll fan grip when it's like a touchy putter shot. But majority of the time, like, I love just throwing the power grip. I think that's really comfortable. So at what point are you switching from a power grip on your approach shot into your modified fan grip now?
Like anything probably under 175, maybe 200.
Is when you're slowly switching into a different style grip to it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Awesome. So let me get to this. I'm going to bring it up. People are probably expecting me to bring something like this up, but it's been interesting watching the arguably world's best, not even arguably, unarguably, world's best FPO player ever. Whether all time, that one could be argued. But Paige Pierce, 996. She's been averaging well below her rating, like significantly below. It's a whole topic on our show tonight, but I wanted to ask from someone in the FPO division, what is it like going to an event and realizing she's not performing at her, or for whatever reason, at her highest level? Do conversations between FPO players be like, hey, like, it's nice, some of us get a chance now? Like, I don't even know. Like, what's the conversation around that? Have you observed that Paige is not performing her best, and how do you feel about that?
As a different person just in life, it's very sad to see. I want to see her win and do the best she can, you know, like I want to see everybody succeed. But it's been really weird not seeing her like pop off on any rounds. She still made moves, like going from 13th to 4th or something, I think, at Waco, something like that. it's really sad, and I honestly don't bring it up because I don't feel the need to. I don't really want to ask or anything, but
Yeah, I think for a lot of players and competitors, their mindset, and Alexis kind of hinted at this a little bit last week on the show, was when she beat her sister at Texas State, she said, yeah, obviously, it's nice to come out on top here and there, but she didn't feel like Valerie had played her best disc golf. And so I think a lot of players, when you say you want to win, you want to beat someone when you're playing your best and when they're playing their best. I mean, you could go back and say, oh, Paul beat Ricky at this tournament or Ricky beat Paul at this tournament. But if you see the other person is in like 12th place, that's not really like you obviously you beat them, but it's not like you really competed against them after the first round. And so I think for a lot of players, and this is me personally, if I beat someone, I want to beat someone on their best day, because that means at that moment I did play better than them. And that's more of a better feeling than them only playing 60% due to an ankle injury or due to personal stuff going on behind disc golf that I know nothing about. So, yes, we want to see people succeed, but we also we want to see people play their best so that you can beat them.
What's hard though, and I don't want to take away from the win that Hailey just experienced, because what's hard is, and I haven't interviewed Paige on this, and I have no inside knowledge, but I'm pretty sure she is playing her best. Like, she's trying to play her best. There's no, maybe she's not playing to her full potential, but like you beat her when she was trying. And I don't want to take anything away from Hailey. So Hailey, congrats on that. And then finally, what tournaments are you really looking forward to? Like, maybe some that you haven't played this ever? Like, have you been to MVP Open? I didn't look into that. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not a favorite.
I think I've played almost every stop on tour, and I'm looking forward to Ledgestone and GMC. Those are my favorite events.
I felt like
I love GMC.
I was going to pick GMC as like one of the answers she was going to say, because you played well there last year. Do you think it caters to your playing style?
Yeah, and I think the courses are complete opposite ends of disc golf. You have wooded and then you have open. Mm-hmm. So it's seeing disc golf in both ways, which a lot of people, they think disc golf is more open shots like golf. And then some people, like me personally, I think wooded disc golf is actual disc golf,
Oh, man.
So being able to see the two play next to each other and playing 2 rounds of each, you get 2 shots at each course. I think, I don't know, Worlds needs to be there again.
Yeah.
So she should have been, Hailey, you should have been on the show last week. We talked about is woods golf good for the sport? And there's people who think it's bad for the sport. I would love to have your opinion on it. I mean, I feel like woods golf is awesome. Like, maybe not for fans, like as far as to line the fairways, but that's where disc golf is, in my opinion. I'm not saying don't get rid of the fields, but is that how you feel?
Yeah, I think watching a disc do a whole flight is so much more amazing than just someone throwing it 700 feet.
Yeah. There's definitely skill to both. And I think that's why it's cool to have a mixture that we do have in disc golf at the moment. But as a New England native, obviously woods golf, I love playing it. I love being around it. And watching the pros play woods golf in person is way more fun than watching it on post-produced. But also I think that comes with course design. And I think some courses are obviously designed better to watch post-round production when it comes to woods courses. I think GMC plays very well to both types of players, but it's fun to watch on camera. When I was watching Texas State, I didn't really get that same feeling as I was watching it. But at the same time, I can obviously see the impressive skill set that a lot of players were putting out on the course that week because of how tight it did seem, and from a lot of pros that I've talked to.
Yeah. So is there anything that we missed, Nick, that Hailey should, tell us about? Okay. Hailey, how can people support you? There's tour series discs. There's all different ways to do it, but what's the best way for people to support your touring efforts?
I am actually getting 100 discs sent to my house, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. So I will have those for sale on probably Friday. That's the best way to help me right away.
Where are the people going to find the discs? Instagram?
Yeah, I'll post on both Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, cool. So shameless plugs. Where do people find you on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that jazz?
My Instagram is KingHailey33, and then my Facebook is just Hailey King.
Cool. Awesome. So
YouTube.
everybody, go out to your favorite Discraft retailers. You can also go on Discraft online. I think just discraft.com. Check out the Tour Series Heat this year. You switch it up from the soccer to the Heat. Actually, quick insight on that. Why'd you switch it up?
I knew the plastic we were gonna get, and I knew a Heat was never ran in this plastic, and it was going to be the best run of Heats ever. So
If you had to describe a Heat really quick for anyone who has never thrown a Heat, how would you describe it?
It's for beginners. It's a very straight disc. It's usable for all arm speeds. Very versatile.
Cool.
So,
From what I've heard, it's an incredible roller disc. And also, you could see if you watch the Texas State coverage, Paul Macbeth on one of the holes throws it on a high hyzer line to get a lot of push and glide. So it's definitely a disc for all skill level. So congrats on getting that Tour Series disc for you. So for everyone who wants to support Hailey, go on to discraft.com or your local retailers when the Tour Series discs get restocked. Check out the new Z Metallic Heats from the Hailey King.
Thanks so much for coming on the show, Hailey. Hopefully we do this more often. I mean, definitely if you're performing or you're just making news headlines for whatever reason, we're going to hit you up. We'd love to have you on. Thanks so much. Have a good evening.
Exactly.
yeah, thank you too.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out, Hailey.
Bye.
Bye.